Hello class. In our last class we discussed about bases and we completed the topic. Now we have left with the last topic of the chapter, acid, bases and salt. Salt. A salt is a compound which when dissolved in water yields a positive ion other than hydrogen ions and negative ions other than hydroxyl ions. So a salt is a compound when it dissolves in water, it will give you a positive ion which is other than H plus ion, say for example Na plus, or a negative ion other than OH minus, say for example Cl minus. Example of salt are sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, copper sulfate, silver chloride, etc. So when you dissolve in water, they are going to give you a positive ion and negative ions. Okay, sodium chloride will give you sodium ion and chloride ion, and sodium sulfate will give you sodium ion and sulfate ion. Now, classification of salt. We can classify salt into three types: normal salt, acid salt, and basic salt. We have got other salts also, but since in our syllabus it has mentioned to discuss only about these three types of salt along with examples, definitions. So first we'll discuss about normal salt. A normal salt is one which does not contain any ionizable or replaceable hydrogen atoms in its molecule. So a salt is a normal which does not contain any ionizable, that means any ion or replaceable hydrogen ion. Say for example, in this if you see, we have got sodium chloride, copper sulfate, silver chloride, barium carbonate. In this we don't have a replaceable hydrogen. Such kind of salt we call it a normal salt. Then the second type of salt is acid salt. An acid salt contains replaceable hydrogen ion. It is formed when only a part of the ionizable or replaceable hydrogen ions in a molecule of the acid are replaced by the metal ions. Say for example, over here if you see, we have got sodium bisulfate and sodium bicarbonate and this calcium bicarbonate. In this case we have got a replaceable hydrogen. Over here we have got one hydrogen, and over here one hydrogen. Such kind of salt, they are called as acid salt. Next we have got the third type of salt. Say for example, in case of acid salt, if you need to explain it more, sodium hydrogen sulfate or bisulfate we call it will give you Na plus and HSO4 minus. Again this can give you H plus and SO4 minus. Similarly, sodium hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate will give you sodium ion plus bicarbonate ion, which bicarbonate ion further will decompose or ionize to give you H plus and CO3 minus. Next is basic salt. A basic salt is formed as a result of incomplete neutralization of a base and acid. So neutralization means when a base and acid react, salt and water is produced. So a basic salt is formed when we have got incomplete neutralization. Hence partial replacement takes place of the hydroxyl group of the diacidic or triacidic base by an acid radical. A basic salt may further react with the acid and give rise to a normal salt. Examples: basic lead nitrate, PbOH-NO3. So diacidic base, when you treat with HNO3, it will give you a basic salt. Similarly, basic copper chloride, when copper hydroxide is treated with HCl, it will give you basic salt. So this is the example of basic salt. Now we have left with the last topic of this last topic of this salt, that is action of dilute acids on salt. Number one is decomposition of carbonate by acid. So what will happen when you treat carbonates compound with acids? So when copper carbonate treated with acid, it will form a salt, water and carbon dioxide. That is the general equation. Similarly, lead carbonate when treated with dilute nitric acid, it is going to form lead nitrate plus hydrogen plus carbon dioxide. So from carbonate you are getting carbon dioxide. Next we have got decomposition of hydrogen carbonate, that is bicarbonate. So when you take sodium bicarbonate or hydrogen carbonate, when you treat with dilute HCl, it is going to give you sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. And next, decomposition of sulfide. So when you take a sulfide compound, that is sodium sulfide, and you treat with HCl, hydrochloric acid, it is going to give you sodium chloride, water, and sulfur dioxide. So this is the action of acids on salt.